What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus G15 Advantage gameplay video for you guys today. And today, we're gonna finally have a look at Starfield. Amazon or AMD, I don't know who's supposed to be giving me my code, screwed me over and haven't given me a code yet. Don't even know if I'm ever gonna get it. So, might not try the game out on the Steam Deck. We'll see. Hopefully it'll appear here sooner or later. Or if I really like the game, I'll buy it, you know? But for now, we've got the Game Pass version for you guys. So, hopefully, this will be a somewhat playable experience, kind of like it was at 1080p. We were not able to hit 60 plus even at 1080p with FSR's help. So this is not going to bode well for 1440. So I can tell you right ahead before we even start, unless there was some super CPU bottlenecks and we're going to get like better performance now, I don't think we're getting 60. But hey, why don't we hop into the game and we'll go see what it does. So let's go hook the capture computer back up and we'll go ahead and we'll see how she plays. Alright, well, just like at 1080p, we're going to try to do this on Ultra with no dynamic res or FSR or anything like that first. Just go through all the settings like usual. And then we'll do one FSR settings and then we'll jump right to my setting. That's the plan anyway. So, we've reached the bottom. Now let's go hop into the game and we'll see how it does at Ultra at 1440. Alright guys, here we are in the game Ultra 1440. And we're getting about 38 to 40 FPS. But hey, that's still higher than what a Series X can get, so I'll take it. Or at least what they choose to let it get. And from what I hear, they're never going to make a 60 FPS patch. And I can kind of tell why. I mean, this laptop is technically faster, and it still can't hit 60. So, if this thing can't, the Series X definitely can't. I mean, this thing is pretty much faster in almost every way except for a couple tiny little things. But like, SSD speeds are comparable. My CPU is actually quite a bit quicker than what's in that one. The GPU trades blows. Some things are quicker on this, but the Series X does win in a couple things. On the GPU. But still, I'm sure a lot of people would think this is completely playable. I would, for one, like a little bit more FPS, so I have a feeling I'm going to have to introduce a little FSR action into this, but it is what it is. I just guess I'm going to have to suck it up and start using that all the time if I want playable frame rates. But hey, I'm glad it at least exists and it gives me the choice rather than being like, hey, this is what you get. Deal with it. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Alright, the time of high graphics setting is upon us. So let's quickly go through them real quick. Still no dynamic resolution or upscaling of any kind yet, unless there's some kind I don't know about in the background. Some games do that. But anyway, we've reached the bottom, so let's go get into the game and see how high does. Alright, now for high graphics settings now. Seems like we're honestly still pretty much at about the same frame rate as before, so we didn't really change much. But I think we picked up like 3 to 4 FPS. That's about what it's looking like to my eye anyway. Still not obviously 60, but better than nothing. I'm glad at least improved the FPS a teensy tiny bit. Some games don't even really change the FPS much when you mess with the FPS. I mean, this is kind of one of them, honestly. It's not like this is very noticeable. I would never even notice that if I didn't have this frame rate counter up, so. Still, I'm excited to play this game, though I will probably be playing this on my desktops, not on the handhelds or the laptop. They're just not quite up to snuff to my 60 FPS wants, anyway. I mean, they get close if you use FSR and whatnot, but I really don't want to have to use that. Although, heck, for all I know, they might do this exact same thing since they're running at higher resolutions. They are more powerful, yes, but they both run at higher resolution. Though, ultra-wide isn't like, oh my god, crazy amounts harder to run, but it's definitely a little harder to run than just your average 1440p. There's extra width to it, you know? but it's not as demanding as 4K by any means. 4K is still very, very demanding. Anyway, though, let's move on to medium. Here are the medium settings now for 1440p. Let's just quickly go through these. And with that, we've reached the bottom. So let's go see if changing it to medium made much of a difference or not. All right, guys, now we're going to do a little medium here. All right, I think medium made a decent difference. Or at least getting around in the 50s over here now. Once I turn around and look at that ship again, though, I'll know, because that was getting like 38 to 42 before. No, we're getting 46 now, so that definitely helped. Seems like there's not a huge difference between high and ultra in the FPS department, at least. But you start noticing a difference in the FPS anyway when you go down to medium, and don't get me wrong, I notice a little bit of a graphics diminishing, but it's since the game does not look that crazy impressive to begin with, it doesn't really look that bad. Now, once we put some FSR on, that might change, but should be alright. It didn't look that bad at 1080p. And if we're going to use FSR at 1440p, it should only look better, as far as logic goes anyway. Because it's more suited to the higher resolutions anyway. I didn't see shit. Hey, I did too, and I did it with this cool beam gun. How about a little credit where credit's due, huh? Alright, that looks like something I should probably avoid. Alright, though, let's go move on to low. So, now it is low time, so let's go ahead and quickly go through the low settings here really quick. And there we are, already to the bottom. So, let's go see if low can get us that 60 FPS or not. Probably not, but hey, I'm going to stay positive and hope. Here we go on low, and right off the bat, my hopes and dreams are shattered. But hey, it is what it is. The game, for whatever reason, is very demanding, and it seems like this laptop's just not quite up to the task of hitting 60 FPS, at least at native 1440p, no matter what you do. Though it was already, like I said, barely cutting by at 1080p as it was, so I'm not that surprised it can't handle it at 1440. But this is still completely playable. Though I wouldn't really want to play low at 1440p. The whole point of going higher resolution is to make things more crispy, not, you know, have lower, resolution textures and all of that stuff. But since this game does not look that impressive, it's not like low looks that bad even at 1080p. But you can definitely notice everything looks a little softer and not quite as good anymore. But hey, some sacrifice has to be made if you want to get closer to 60 all the time. But as you can see in this particular video, at least in this area, it couldn't, which means there's probably harder places than this. Anyway though, let's go move on. Now, just like at 1080p, we're going to try some FSR now with the same 75% resolution scale of FSR 2. We're going to play with high settings just like we did at 1080p. Probably won't work just like at 1080p, but hey, I just want to be consistent. And then after that, we'll move right on to my settings. So, let's go hop into the game and see how FSR does at 1440p. Here is the FSR gameplay now. And no 60 FPS, at least with high settings with FSR. You might be able to do something, like if you turned everything to low and did FSR, You might be able to hit 60 all the time, but I don't want to play a game like that. That's not my idea of a good time. So when I do my settings, we'll see what I can do with, basically when I do those, it's what I would run if this was my only system and this was my only way to game. This is how I would set it up. So that's pretty much what I would do, or that's what I do with my settings on everything. But of course, they're not guaranteed to be flawless or 60 FPS all the time. They are literally just a starting point of how I would play, and then people can take that and work it to their desire. Or just use one of the presets if that works to their fancy better. That's why I like showing different variables, but decided to stop going through every single conceivable FSR setting. That was just taking too long, and anything besides quality and balance honestly just looks so bad. I don't think anybody would really want to play with it like that, especially not single player games like this that are all story driven and more about graphics than they are about like fast, twitchy, gotta have that 144 FPS. Don't get me wrong, it'd be nice if it was getting that, but it's not required. That's all I'm trying to say. Hell, it'd be great if every single game could just run at your monitor's native resolution no matter what it was somehow, but that would take some weird-ass alien technology that we don't have right now. Anyway, moving on. Now for my settings, and we had to go quite a bit lower on quite a few settings than we did at 1080p, and still couldn't quite stay at 60. Spoiler. But still, I think it's still very playable. But we've just reached the bottom, so why don't we hop into the game and I'll show you right about now. Alright guys, here we go with my settings now. So let's just run around here a little bit more. And once we get to the desktops, I'll probably like move on from this place and just hope to God I don't get stuck on that ship indefinitely forever, and or not forever, but for like 2-3 hours like I was scared would happen. That's why I've been just running around here. I was like, hey, I got a spot that's outside, and that's probably going to be very similar to how a lot of other places are. And it's probably one of the harder places to run. The only thing I can think of that might be harder, it would be like a gigantic city full of lots of NPCs. That's the one place I can think of that might be a little harder, because that's kind of how it is in these kind of Bethesda games in the past. But that's why I kind of want to go on and see if maybe I get to one of those next. I know nothing about this game. I've watched a few little videos on graphics, no idea where they are in the game or anything, and that's about it. That's what I like to keep it. If I watch how something's going to be, I don't want to watch it and get the story ruined or anything. That's why I try not to do that for you guys too. I don't want to just start my gameplay like fighting the final boss of a game or something. That wouldn't be very cool. So that's why I kind of try to stick towards the beginnings of the games too. I've had some comments saying, oh, you're just lazy, you don't want to play the game and actually get good footage. It's all like, nah, I just try not to ruin stuff. But that's why I try to pause a little more now and not just get recordings in a cave or like just inside of a spaceship and just stuff like that. I've at least tried to like get to a harder to run place like outside like we are now. So there's a method to the madness. But we're getting pretty playable FPS still when you look over at that thing. Anyway. Alright guys, let's get a little bit of some camera gameplay here. It's a pretty decent 60-ish FPS, but it does drop under time to time, unfortunately. Just like it did at 1080p. The only way to get a pretty much always 60 FPS is to make the game look like shit and then like turn all the resolution scaling and FSR down even lower and all that, and have everything be on low, and that's just no fun. I don't want to play a game like that, and it still doesn't quite hit 60 all the time. think I'm gonna have fun with this game. But I like Bethesda games. The only one I didn't really try was that online Fallout 76 or whatever. I just didn't figure I'd like that since I'm not a big social person really. Unless I'm playing with my friends, and none of my friends were interested in getting that game. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just not try that one out. But I think that one's on Game Pass, so I could at least try it out if I wanted to. Or at least it was. It might have been one of those ones that came and left already. Not everything stays on forever. And I think they want me to get on that ship really bad. I didn't really have audio until I got to this part. So I had no idea what they're saying, but it's like, hey, what the hell are you doing? Get the fuck out of here. And I would just get on the ship, but I don't want to get into the predicament, as I explained in the 1080p video, where it's like, alright, well now you're stuck on this spaceship for like 2.5 hours, and I don't want to get footage on a spaceship, because that's not going to be realistic. I know you're on it sometimes, but most of the time it feels like we're going to be out on a planet like this. So I felt like this would probably be the best place to focus on. And of course I'll come back and revisit once it's had some patches and whatnot too. But I wouldn't expect any miracle patches. I don't think we're going to get no 60 FPS on this thing without the use of FSR. I just don't think it's happening. Which is a shame. You guys know me, I'm always saying I wish stuff could be native, but this GPU is getting slightly older and it was never top of the line to begin with, but I mean, for 1080p anyway, I feel like it should be able to still do 60 no problem. 1440, that's where we should have started having some problems in some games, where maybe you would need to use a little FSR here and there. But already at 1080p we have to, so that's a shame. But hey, at least that makes things playable. It may not be as pretty as it would be looking native, but at least it's playable now versus not being playable at all. Don't get me wrong, I would like a tier 60 FPS experience without any FSR, but looks like the way games are going, that's just not going to happen. And I have a feeling we're probably not going to get much better FPS than this on my desktops either, because those are much higher resolution. One of them's ultra-wide 1440p and the other one's 4K. So they generally, well, back when I had the 3090, they seemed to be this very similar FPS, but nowadays the AMD system tends to get a little bit higher FPS, but lower resolution and all. It makes sense. But there's still some times where the 4090 still comes ahead, even with the, what you would call it, resolution advantage, or disadvantage, I guess in this case. I call it an advantage because I love 4K, but it is a demanding mofo. Oh no. I just wanted to see what would happen if I went into it. Protection regen! We have been regenerated! I don't know, I'm stuck in a hole. Let me out of the hole. Alright, cool. It wouldn't let me jump for a second. I was like, I thought I was stuck in a freaking hole there. And at least it doesn't look that bad with my settings here, even though we do have to use upscaling. At least in my opinion. It's not the greatest looking game ever though. I still don't understand why it's so demanding for how, unless it's all the like characters and stuff. I guess there are a lot of characters in the game, but still, I feel like it should be able to get 60 FPS looking like this. It's not the most impressive thing in the world, even when it's running at native resolution, you know? But it is what it is. It still looks like it could be a fun game. I'm definitely going to give it a shot, but I will probably be playing it on my desktops, not on the Asus G15 Advantage, unfortunately. Usually this thing's no slouch, but it seems like with the way games are going, it's starting to get a little harder to get that 60 FPS target nowadays. I know a lot of people don't give a crap about that, but I for one, am on PC to get a 60 FPS plus experience. More of like 100 plus nowadays. 60 is more of my minimum, but my absolute minimum is 30. Can't really deal with going lower than that. Once in a while, a little dip here and there, I'm not going to say, oh my god, I installed a game, because Elden Ring on my Steam Deck was like that. And I played the hell out of that game on my Steam Deck.
Hey, you get any good hits in? Not every day we get to cut it.
Anyway though, I think that's probably enough camera recorded gameplay. So, why don't we go ahead and we'll wrap this video on up. Well alright guys, that is a wrap for Starfield at 1440p on the G15 Advantage. And just like 1080p, we couldn't quite do it 60 plus, no matter what, even with FSR's help. But with my settings and a little FSR's help, we're at least able to get around a 60-ish FPS experience. So for those of you guys who are like me and want a 60 FPS plus all the time, unless you're like on a Steam Deck or something like that, well then this is probably not gonna work well for you on either resolution of this laptop. But if you're somebody who doesn't care about that and just wants to play the game, it's more than playable on the laptop. I mean, it's not like it was dropping under 30. That's my absolute limit. But in any case, that is all I got for you guys for this particular video. Time for me to now move on to the secondary computer and the primary computer. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.